Oh, there you go.
I can't hear anything. You are all on mute.
Oh, no.
It's fixed.
Very good. Well, before we have either of them speak, I just want to mention to the township board that the zoning enabling act says that the legislative body may appoint to the zoning board of appeals not more than 2 alternate members for the same term as regular members. Here, I'm pass that down. I made copies, so take down. So originally I was thinking that we would need to make a choice tonight. But this information seems to say that if we were so inclined, we could approve both of them as alternate members to the zoning board of appeals. So, yes.
I think that appointing 2 people as alternates to the zoning board of appeals is a great idea. I served just briefly as an alternate on the zoning board of appeals. And if you have ever been to a zoning board of appeals meeting, it is so complicated. There is just so much information that the chair has to have, that all of the members have to have. And I think having more than one person learning the complexities of the ZBA is a good idea.
I agree, Sandy. Yes. Yeah, let's do that. I don't want to give them. So since they are both here attending virtually tonight, I would like to give them both an opportunity to introduce themselves and say hello, and maybe what's further interest to put their interest in for this position.
Okay. They can unmute themselves.
All right. You want to unmute yourself? Melissa, would you like to go first?
Sure. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Great. Well, I am Melissa Cuthbert. I have been a Sylvan Township resident for about 4 years. I live here with my husband and my 3.5-year-old twin boys and 5-month-old girl. And I was introduced to kind of local government happenings a couple of years ago when we went through a process with a daycare center near our house. And I just find zoning really interesting. I like to joke with my husband that I think it's the most interesting part of the paper when we get the Sun Times. And so I think maybe a year or so ago, 6 months ago, I had put in an application to be or just say I was interested in, helping out the township however possible. I think local government's really important and would love to be a part of it. And my background, I worked in nonprofit accounting and finance for about 10 years, and then recently transitioned to helping run our behavioral health clinic in Chelsea. So I co-run Timber Creek Counseling with my husband. My undergrad degree was in finance, and then I have a master's in teaching and an MBA from the University of Michigan, Flint. So I like to think that I am a good listener and detail oriented. And I think those are, things that could be helpful when talking about zoning. So yeah, if you have any other questions, happy to answer any of those.
Wonderful. Thank you, Melissa.
Yes.
All right. Well, if anybody has questions directly for Melissa, then we'll have Cliff introduce himself. Okay. Clifford, are you, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Perfect.
I'm
Very
Cliff
good.
Camp. I've been here in Sylvan Township going on 3 years, I believe. I live in the township with my wife and 4 children. I have an 11-year-old, a 6-year-old, a soon-to-be 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old. My day job, I'm an assistant vice president and dean of students at Madani University in Livonia. So I deal with a wide cross-section of issues that impact the university, from housing close to 450 students, to discipline, to compliance, kind of everywhere in between. My academic background, I have a bachelor's degree in public law and government from Eastern Michigan University, a master's degree in public administration from Eastern Michigan University. I have a law degree from Thomas M. Cooley Law School, and I'm finishing a PhD in public administration at Western Michigan University. So been fascinated in local government. I had a brief opportunity to serve on the Water and Sewer Commission. Unfortunately, I got a promotion that wouldn't allow me to meet during the day, but nights are better in my schedule. I love the complexities. Zoning is something I'm very interested in law school, property law, and all the issues that come up. And zoning was one of my favorite subjects. I like to do the tough. I like the challenging and complex.
Wonderful. I think everyone in the room right now is feeling very blessed and lucky to have two such fantastic candidates and people who want to do this. And I'm tickled pink that we could take you all both on as alternates. I would not relish making a choice here. So thank you very much. Knowing that we can appoint two alternates, I will make a motion to appoint Clifford Camp and Melissa Cuthbert as alternates to the Zoning Board of Appeals. They are 3-year terms, so I will note that in my motion to alternate for the Zoning Board of Appeals, it would be a 3-year term to end in 2025. So motion by me, Rod, is that you still
Yes.
support that motion? Is there any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. All right, motion carried. Thank you so much. And Carol Knischke, who is our zoning administrator, I'm sure will happily give you a kind of quick onboarding and, orientation to the processes and the people. And we'll let you know when the next ZBA meeting is as well. Thank you very much, both of you.
Great, thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda is election security grant expenditures. Clerk Nuki secured a grant, I think, for some election expenditures.
Every municipality was, this is available to all of us. But, as you can see in the motion, my deputy and I have already looked at, a new electronic phone book, another barcode scanner, and key laptops. So we're asking for it allows for $1,500, so we're asking for up to $1,500. There are more things we're going to look at, considering we may need new precincts after the election cycle. So we want to spend every dollar we can of this grant. So right now, as I said, we're looking at the full book, the barcode scanner, and the laptops. So I would like to make a motion to approve expenditures of up to $1,500 for new election equipment, including but not limited to an electronic poll book, computer, barcode scanner, and key laptops. Second that.
All right, great, thank you. Motion by Amanda, supported by Sandy. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Thank you. Motion carries. The next item is an approval of the tax rate millage. Trustee Kosick reached out and was asking if we needed to approve what's a form is called L 4029. And the 4029 was completed and filled out and submitted in the summer. And we got the information from the accountant, and so this document has gone to the county But I did check with the attorney and he said it would be a good idea to memorialize this in a motion tonight. And you can see under column, 11, the millage, requested to be levied December 1st. I pulled those two numbers for my motion. And Catherine, I mentioned this to her today and she's so knowledgeable. She was talking to me about the formula of how this comes about, and they take table number from table 5 and times it by 6, and there's a whole mathematical thing that happens here. Wizardry, absolutely. So that's where that number comes from, and I'm sure she'd be happy to explain that to anyone who's willing to listen or wanted to know more about that. So these are the two numbers. Wanted to let you know that's where I put it, and you could make a motion tonight to approve these rates.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2022 Sylvan Township requested millage rate of 0.9329 for operating millage, and 4.4 for debt millage.
All right, great, thank you. Motion by Rob, supported by Kurt. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. The next item is, we've been presented with some communication from, drafted by the city of Chelsea, and they're sending it to local municipalities for support. And what this is outlining and what it's asking for is, the county board of commissioners to please keep a court presence here in Chelsea. So we know that the court administration is looking at moving most of the court services to Saline, which we have discussed, and our county commissioner, Jason Masiewski, is very passionate about keeping those services here. Saline is an awful far way for people to go. There's no consistent bus transportation that can keep you from here to there. So in this vein, the city of Chelsea has put together this letter, and it sort of outlines the timeline of this. And they have asked that we sign on and support this. There's a county commissioners meeting tomorrow night that I think, if people wanted to attend or felt passionate about this and wanted to speak one way or another about it, Mr. Masiewski did tell me tomorrow night's county commissioner meeting would be a good opportunity to do that. You can attend via Zoom and participate publicly. So I'll just mention that as well. But tonight we have this letter that they're requesting the board's support.
I think it's kind of critical to keep it here because that kind of covers this end of the county.
Yeah.
Instead of keeping everything there and Saline, it just makes no sense.
Well, and if we discuss, it's hard to get.
Absolutely.
To know who,
Right.
route.
And this letter recognizes too, and I think people have recognized that the building where they currently are is really not safe. It's not, it was never built to be a courthouse. You know, the cell that they hold people in is like a vault kind of thing in the basement. It's really kind of horrifying when you see it. So, and it's the, you know, there's a whole slew. I went there, and met with the county commissioners and Commissioner Masiewski and Mayor Pacheco. And, it's not a safe, place. But you know, there could be other opportunities. Maybe it doesn't have to stay in that location, or maybe they offer abbreviated services in some way. So, yes. So I'll just here at the last paragraph is on behalf of the community members in Chelsea and other Western Washtenaw residents, we feel it is vital to maintain court services in our community. And they're asking, we appreciate the collaborative process. They're concerned, it's been 2+ years of discussions. We are still without written assurance that court services will remain in Chelsea. And so they want to see if they can get that, what kind of impact would an expansion of the Saline Court have in Chelsea, and can the court define what services and types of trials they intend to maintain in Chelsea. So I will make a motion that Sylvan Township, sign on the letter of support addressed to Sue Shink and Honorable Carol Cookie and Greg Dill.
I will second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. The next item I have, I just was, poking around on the Michigan Township Association page. I remember they had a principles of township governance we got a while ago. And I think it just fell to the wayside. But I think it's interesting, as in the packet, so if you have it there, you can look at it. It talks about, it's really just, confirming or affirming our commitment to, high ethical conduct, practicing openness and transparency, cooperating in reasonable ways with other government entities. I would read them, but you can read them yourself. So this is just, something that the board could adopt and affirm, and we would, sign it and file it away.
I would like to move with the board about these, the principles of township governance excellence.
I will second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I went to a conference, in Michigan Township Association conference in July. And one of the topics that was being discussed was your township writing a mission statement. I would never suggest that we do that, because that is really getting down in the weeds. It's like 10,000 times worse than, I mean, it's just ridiculous to start out with almost nothing and then you have to create this mission statement. I think this document really comes very close to being, it's an abbreviated mission statement. We don't have to have a tome declaring all the things that we think are wonderful, because we honestly just don't have time to do that. And I think that this would serve us well. Everybody, if you're in an elected position, you have to take an oath when you sign in, which, and this is just kind of a reminder of what, of the things that you said you were gonna do. But if some, so is this just for the board? Or can this apply to like everybody who's here?
Well, this form specifically says, refers to the board, the blank township board.
Well, I would like it to apply to everybody who works here, to elected persons and staff. If we could do that.
Yeah, if we can do that.
Yeah.
If,
Nothing's ever easy. Well, how about if we adopted for the elected township board, and then we'll look into if we can possibly broaden the reach of this to all staff. How's that?
And what's the concern that we can't apply this to the staff? Because the document,
well, the document came from Michigan Township Association and it's made for the board. So I would be fairly confident we could probably, apply it to staff, but without asking our attorney, I would just, I don't know, I wouldn't want to put a wrong foot
Right.
in. And if we can do it for ourselves, which was really nice
Yeah.
after tonight, I think that's a fantastic idea, and we can look at that and we can, just make sure.
Right.
Perfect.
So where would we file this? Is this admin procedure or?
Put it on the website.
We could do that. It's not treated as such, but we could add it as, into, our procedures, policies and procedures, but yeah, might as well. I do too. Because there it can stay in posterity, otherwise it's just either on the wall or in a file somewhere, so.
okay, so I'm just want to make sure I'm clear. So we're going to adopt the principles of township government excellence and importance of the township. But part of the motion is that we will look to broaden
Yes,
the scope to include that.
right. But right now, we're just going to adopt this for elected or board of trustee members. And then we'll see if it's possible to
Okay.
include everybody.
And you're supporting that motion still, all right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Zero. Unanimous consent tonight. That is the board packet, the business for tonight. So we have a second public comment period. And
Okay, I've had something that's been bothering me for the last couple months, and it just compelled a little bit farther at the last precinct meeting when a comment was made. So bear with me, Ann Palmball here, so I rarely comment on anything. I just feel compelled today to give some constructive criticism, so bear with me while I voice my opinions. I promise I'm ending on a positive note, so please bear with me, okay? So going back to the board, meeting of August 9th, where Amanda, you made a couple of comments, just where it was over concerns over a conversation that you overheard in the office, and that you indicated that everyone, to consider that we represent the public and are in the public's eyes, so be careful of what is said. Well, it turned out after that August 9th meeting, unfortunately, along with two board members, I witnessed a very heated argument. And I was appalled, shocked, and disappointed at what I was witnessing. And I haven't felt good about it since then. I did speak with Kathy Kennedy that very next morning, expressing my concern on what I witnessed the night before. You know, so we let it go and everything, but I just have a comment to all board members, and I'm elated that you guys are adopting this, so it's quite appropriate that you're adopting the MTA principle of township governance excellence, so that's perfect, thank you. But just to all the board members, regardless of anyone's title, that works here in the township, please be a team member. Don't be a bully. Be an equal with everyone, whether you're an elected official or not. And also be transparent. There's a good board in front of you. You all have great ideas. Just work together better. I know I would feel better, and I'm feeling even better that you just adopted this. I don't know how you were going to put that in place. You'll put it out in the township meeting or township website, but how will you actually act on it? What if someone doesn't follow it? When a new employee comes in or a new elected official comes in, will that document be reviewed? Just some thoughts. Thank you. I feel better getting it off my chest, but I just felt compelled. I just haven't been feeling good for the last couple months, so you all do a great job. Thank you, and thanks. Thank you for listening.
thank you. Any other public comments? Well, I was gonna talk about this at Board of Trustee comments here, but,
There's, I think, 5 or 6 copies of that. From the page.
oh. Oh. Then this must have been a typo, because I believe everybody should have this like this file already. Excuse me. That's a good cough, my dad would say. It's a good cough. You didn't see him? Here. 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 Straight in. Wasn't that? Yeah, you should have little packets. Here, you can use them up. Any other public comment? All right. We will move to Board of Trustee member comments. And I have a little list here. I promise I will make sure everyone has time if they want to speak too. Just a couple things off the bat. I want to start with some thank yous. I want to thank Larry Powell for his cleanup of the cemetery after the storm we had in September when we were all without power. He had some pictures, I believe in his report, of his truck and trailer just hauling away limbs. And we appreciate that. That's above and beyond. When before him, that was, we were paying the lawn service to do that. So he's happy to help out in that way. I also want to thank our resident Dan Russell for providing some pretty awesome monitors that were here for the Washtenaw County Commissioner meeting on Monday, September 26th, regarding the broadband information. And we had these giant monitors, and the meeting would not have been as informative as it was without them. It really allowed everyone sitting to see. They had maps there. So it was a fantastic meeting. So thanks to Dan Russell. Thanks also to Commissioner Mashkiewski and Shannon Beeman, who hosted the meeting here. And it was well attended. And you can now go to the Washtenaw County website. We should put a link on our website where you can go to their interactive map and find your own parcel and click on it and see when the estimated date is for your hookup. When we were here, we looked at my address and it said, I believe October 2024. And they said, when they do the contracts, that's like the end date. So that's what it says, because that's the longest out it could possibly be. It could be sooner, but they didn't want to say that. So if you're in this realm where the contract expires. So that was exciting. That was really exciting. And it was funny because on my road, half of my road was one color. So they did a really great job of explaining this rollout. And again, Washtenaw County being possibly the first county in the whole state to be completely broadband wired is fantastic. So thanks for all of that. I want to mention that the Kavanaugh Lake, there's going to be Washtenaw County work on Kavanaugh Lake Road starting Monday. And it's going to be, this says, once the roads get started, it will be closed through traffic for approximately 4 weeks. I saw one that said 2, but this says 4 weeks. There's going to be detours posted, so they're going to be doing some work, pulverizing the existing road surface and resurfacing the road. So people who live within private boundaries will, of course, be provided access. So we'll watch for that. I want to remind everybody, Consumers is continuing to do work through the end of October at their site over on 52, where they have the flaring every once in a while going up. So that's going on. And I will just mention just today too, they sent this flyer for free donuts at the Dexter Cider Mill. That's this Thursday, just in a couple days. So I will put that there if you want to go and have some donut and ciders on Consumers. All right, so next is a packet that Kurt was referring to. Mayor Pacheco reached out to me and said she was talking with some other, mostly Lima Township, Dwayne Lewitt, and the city of Chelsea was interested in engaging a class from Michigan State University as their planning students. And so they have an opportunity for a semester. They look at an area, discuss planning different things. And I know Mayor Pacheco's approach has always been a regional approach to really look at how the whole area is developing instead of everyone in their own silos. So she was talking about if they pursue this, like Sylvan, any obligation on our end would be maybe to give the students some information about developments or where they are. So this is an email that I just included from Jane. It's to me and Mr. Lewick, talking about what this is, and then she also included like their she and one of the council members got together and put together their thing that they want the students to look at. And this is Chelsea driven. We're just asking, they're just saying, hey, we're doing this and we would like your support. And I think it's a great idea. We can support them. One of the things they were talking about is walkability, mobility. And so that really impacts us. We have so much going on, and back behind Wendy's there with all the developments, and they're all kind of just in their own pots, that if connect them and have walkability would be so great. So I was happy to see that on there. I don't think there's any action our board needs to do tonight. I just wanted to let you know that the city has engaged this professor and her students. And you might have a question here or there. I would imagine probably for Carol, if they're talking about planning things. So. All right, and then one other thing I have here is Sandy and I were talking, and kind of in the vein of having a training or having a workshop where we would all come together and include staff here at the township and just you know, have an opportunity to come together. There's so many different boards I'm on, and I'll say, when was the last time your board was on a retreat or when did anything together? And we haven't in the 8 years I've been here. So I think it's a good idea, and not just for board members, but for the staff too. And one of the things that I appreciate that Sandy was saying is that we need to have a common language. Because I think, you know, elected people, we don't necessarily come equipped with the words or the things. So I think that's a really outstanding idea. Sandy mentioned that she had met this Susan Radwan, or had seen her, I think, at a conference. And she said, I would be interested in this. I mentioned it one day when I was on the phone with our attorney that, hey, we might want to do this. And he said, oh, that would not be a bad idea. There's this woman named Susan Radwin. And I said, hey, that's just who can be contacted. So, you know, this is a late thing coming tonight. I didn't feel comfortable putting it on there. There is an expense with it that is not budgeted. But also we did budget money for a deputy supervisor, which I have not used this year. So I think there would be funds to cover this. But also I recognize that we may want to get more than one quote if this is something that we want to do or want to pursue.
Say that again?
I don't know if we would want, if people would want to get another quote or have another person, you know, give us a workshop.
So when I contacted MTA for names, they gave me her name. I saw her.
Mhm.
So I have experience with her. They gave me somebody else that I didn't contact because she didn't have a website. She didn't have any information. They only gave me 2 names.
Okay.
So I would feel comfortable moving forward with this person because she's known by our attorney. MTA recommended her, and she does educational sessions for MTA. Sure.
Wonderful. Well, I think it's a great idea. And I think, you know, I didn't put it to the agenda tonight, but we can put it on the agenda for November. And our meeting is November 1st and the election is the 8th. And I think if it's something that we wanted to do, you know, no matter what the makeup of the board ends up being after November, I think it's a good idea for this sort of thing to happen. And maybe all the more better for, you know, if there's new people, just because this is really a coming together, you know. Yeah. So missed opportunity, maybe not putting on the agenda tonight, but I think it's a good idea. I'm happy to support it for November. Put it on the agenda. All right, So lastly on here is Leone Township. So my understanding, our attorney has talked with the attorney for Sylvan Crossing. We were not privy to the agreement that was between the state of Michigan and Leone Township. And our attorney was thinking at first that it was financial. And if it was only fines and fees that they were still negotiating, some of our developers have deep pockets and might be interested in helping them so they could get moving sooner. But he said that is not the case. That's not the only holdup. There's an issue of a detention or retention, I'm not sure which pond, that the state said was not permitted and they needed to close, but apparently Leone had a really old permit for this pond and is further saying we need this pond if there's overflow with the INI. So Mr. Thal was not as confident that it was going to be something that was going to be easily solved. So, and I talked to one of the developers who went to the Leone meeting and said, you know, if this is really true, Leone's in a bad spot. So he didn't necessarily blame them for not signing this agreement either. But in the meantime, interest rates are going up. The developers are seeing all these things happening. I was, Jack Knowles emailed me, he is the developer of Chelsea Square, and he was wondering what our legal plan of action was. And, so when I talked to Rob Baller, attorney, about this last time, he said we would go through circuit court. And right now it takes about a year for a case to go through circuit court. And the plan's going to be operational in April 2023. So he wasn't sure, you know, if that was going to be the greatest course to go, because we could have a resolution to it before the court case goes all the way through. So, and I told Mr. Knowles that, and Sean LaFleur from Westchester was on the email, and Danny Berry from Chelsea Springs were on, all the developers, well, other than the manufactured homes, were on the email. So I told them that I would bring it up to the board. You know, I don't want to be the gatekeeper of what we do or don't, but I wanted to know if the board would be interested in maybe having a special meeting and having Rob Paul zoom in so he could talk to us about the situation and the legalities of it. And whether it's something we want to pursue right now or how to handle it.
I think we need to do something right now. Because there's not, it doesn't seem that there's feedback coming from Leone to us, so all we have are question marks all over our heads trying to guess what it is, and so I think we need to have a plan.
Yes.
You've never really gotten an answer from me, a straight answer.
Well, Howard hasn't necessarily, but I will tell you, and Rob Paul can speak to this when he was here, the conversation he had with, the Sun Communities, the manufactured homes, I believe the Leone Township attorney, or not, yeah, the Leone Township attorney was on that call as well. So he really got the straight answer from that. Howard has not, this is where it was surprising to me to hear about the pond being a holdup. But then the very next day, we heard it from John Lisinski from Grass Lake at the water sewer meeting. So he had heard about that too. So I'm confident Fall has the straightest story that's to be had. So I mean that might be, you know, it would have to be a public meeting. You know, we could probably go into closed session if it's regarding, you know, litigation, or he could prepare a document that would allow us to discuss it in closed session, or that's appropriate too.
I personally see that.
Yeah. Do you wanna pick a date right now tonight, or you want me to email and poll everyone and see over the next? Or
I will see what Rob has.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, let me do that, and then I'll send around some dates to the board. We can talk about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, those are all the items I had on my list. Did anybody else have things they wanted to discuss? Absentee ballots are available.
True. I sent out my absentee ballot today, about 720. My deputy is still working on it. I left, so yes. One of the first way.
Yes, the first way. They will continue to go out. So. Okay, board of trustee comments at this time. Okay. Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh,
Move to adjourn.
move to adjourn at 7:47. Thank you, Rob. I'll support. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, thank you. Motion. Thank you. You bet.